Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The other night, I was chatting with my buddy Ink Slasher. I'm sure you guys all know who Ink is. Corey, awesome guy. If you haven't checked out his channel, he does fantastic content. And we were talking about Black Ops 7 and sort of what's going on with it, talking about how our videos were performing with this. We were both like sitting here going, man, Black Ops 7 is in a weird state right now. Across the board here, outside of some very specific things, the hype for Black Ops 7 just is not there. And perhaps that changes in the coming days, weeks, and months as we're getting closer to reveals. Obviously, the worldwide reveal happening with Gamescom on August 19th, I believe it is. Then after that, the next event at the end of September, followed by the beta. So like we're approaching that time where we're gonna get a lot of official details, our first real looks at Black Ops 7 and see what the game is all about. And we'll have, a better idea of what to expect with it. We can make some stronger judgments. I think the best way to go about it is reserving a lot of the judgments for actually getting hands-on with that free beta. Don't pre-order, don't you have to go out of your way to pay anything for it. Just wait for the free beta, try it out, see if you like it, see if you don't. That's where it's the easiest to actually make judgments on the game. But because of the state of Call of Duty as it stands right now and COD's history as of late, the hype for Black Ops 7 just isn't really there so far. And I wonder, I got to thinking a little bit more about this after I had this conversation with Ink Slasher. Is Call of Duty well aware of this? Did they actually plan for this? Is Call of Duty maybe a little bit scared? What's going on here exactly? Now, a lot of this is just me simply theorizing, maybe, doing some Scooby-Doo style investigating here, solving some mysteries. But I do think Call of Duty may be in some real trouble for the coming year, for a handful of reasons. Black Ops 7, as I just alluded to, the hype is not really there so far. That could absolutely change when we see official reveals. Like they could maybe just knock the marketing out of the park and people really like what they see. That's certainly a possibility, right? It's also possible they don't like what they see, which is, 50-50 toss up there. But Black Ops 7 already is kind of getting the same treatment that Modern Warfare 3 got when we started to learn more about that game. We came off MW2, which obviously flopped post-launch pretty heavily. It had a lot of hype going into it. Players didn't like how the game felt for the most part. It dropped players off significantly. So when they announced Modern Warfare 3, there just was not a lot of hype. Everyone viewed it as, oh, this is a $60, $70 MW2 DLC. It's just an expansion pack. Now, me personally, I think it was a lot more than that. I think it was a better game than Modern Warfare 2, but there were valid criticisms and valid reasons to look at it as, oh, is this just a large DLC for MW2? Black Ops 7 now directly following up Black Ops 6. They're intentionally doing these back-to-back years with these sub-franchises, getting the same treatment. Oh, Black Ops 7, it's also made by Treyarch too, which makes it even more strange. Just going to be a DLC for Black Ops 6, right? So for that reason alone, yeah, the hype certainly is not there. This isn't going to, necessarily come off as a brand new Call of Duty, a full new Call of Duty, perhaps until we get every little detail about what to expect with it. But for now, it's getting that same treatment as MW3 did. And MW3 did not launch with a ton of hype. When we look at the Steam player charts, we obviously see it being much more popular back in 2022 with Modern Warfare 2022, of course. And then that dropping off throughout the year, obviously hitting some pretty low numbers. And then October, November 2023 comes around. That's when Modern Warfare 3 drops. The numbers spike up a little bit. They do drop off, but they do stay relatively consistent throughout the year. You're hovering around the same averages throughout the early summer, midsummer, late summer here, which is typically where COD falls off the most. And then Black Ops 6 drops. It's a brand new Call of Duty. Numbers boom way up. Keep in mind, this is just like 5% of the player base. We've done the math. We've been able to figure it out, matching up these player numbers to some other details that we'll cover here in just a second. Steam's about 5% of the player base. So it's not a great depiction of how active Call of Duty is because it's such a small chunk of players, but it does give you some indications for some trends, right? So spikes back up with Black Ops 6 and then drops off severely very quickly. Players come back with Verdansk and then it's kind of stabilized and averaged out and sort of plateaued in the recent months here. But you see the trend here. There's obviously a large difference in how MW3 launched with very little hype. You saw some boom in the numbers, you saw some increase, but it wasn't major like what it was when MW2 launched or when Black Ops 6 launched. Those followed similar patterns though of immediately falling off, whereas MW3 stayed a bit more consistent. We also had this report from the game business a little while back comparing Call of Duty's player counts in March of the past few years. So March 2023 during Modern Warfare 2, the game had its highest player base of the last couple of years at 22.4 million in that month. March 2024, during Modern Warfare 3, it had 20.8 million. And then March 2025, now that multiple games have been out and are counting towards this, the lowest of the three, showing that Black Ops 6 lost the most interest here, basically considering it also is counting players for MW3 and MW2 at the same time. Obviously, the drop off after MW2 is noticeable as well, but Modern Warfare 3's not as harsh as Black Ops 6's. So with this, there's already a pretty negative sentiment around Black Ops 6. Going into Black Ops 7 now, not having that much hype, how has Call of Duty actually set themselves up for this? And are we going to see a similar situation where, okay, yes, Modern Warfare 3 did not have much hype going into it, but it's also the only game out of the last few that's actually been able to maintain a player base over the course of its entire year and not see steep drop-offs post-launch. Part of that may be attributed to the fact that there wasn't as many players on launch to have drop-off, but the game actually did grow several months post-launch when they started introducing new seasons. At launch, though, you had like the carryover, you had all the DLC comments. Black Ops 7 is going to be the same deal. If we have carryover from BO6 into Black Ops 7, it's going to lose that hype. If there are all the DLC comments, and that's a huge narrative, it's going to lose that hype. But you look back, MW3, okay, did well during the year. Could Black Ops 7 repeat that? Obviously, they learned from Black Ops 6. Treyarch sees the feedback in real time. Sledgehammer admitted, they could go through and they were changing things for MW3 based on the feedback for MW2 as that direct sequel. So Black Ops 7 has a chance to do the same thing. Maybe it doesn't launch with a ton of hype, and as of right now, it doesn't look like it's going to unless things drastically change with Gamescom and Next and the beta. However, when you go into the post-launch year for Black Ops 7, this is where things get a little bit scary for Call of Duty, in my opinion. They won't necessarily be able to rely as heavily on post-launch keeping the game alive and sort of saving the game, because this game, when it launches in November, presumably according to the leaks, November 14th I think is the date. Okay, you've got November, that'll be hype enough, like there will be players coming back to check out the new COD. December will probably be hype enough because you'll have season 1 in the Warzone integration. Hopefully it doesn't break things too much, because that should help extend things into January. Okay, you get February, March, early spring, you might see some good seasonal updates there that keep players on. But then you get closer to Grand Theft Auto 6. And this is the major difference. Where MW3 throughout the late winter, spring, summer, early fall, expanding all the way to Black Ops 6 was able to maintain a player base with its solid post-launch content, that player base is not going to necessarily be fully available to Black Ops 7, because let's face it, GTA 6 is going to take a giant chunk of players from every game on the planet. This is not just a Call of Duty problem. This is a gaming problem in general. If you're not Rockstar and you're not GTA 6, you're gonna see a major drop in players the second that game launches, if it launches on time, of course. But Black Ops 7 is not going to be able to compete with that in any capacity when that game launches, and that post-launch player count's gonna see a dip there. And here's where I got to thinking a little bit more. I've been doing a lot of thinking, okay? With this, Call of Duty knew this was coming. Everybody in the gaming industry knew GTA was coming. Maybe, just maybe, this was their plan all along, knowing that Black Ops 7, following up Black Ops 6, was probably not going to be the most hyped up, most anticipated COD in some time. Whereas a lot of that attention could be the opposite from Modern Warfare 4, sort of going back to that Modern Warfare franchise, back to a more realistic military style game as Modern Warfare usually is. Seeing a new engine upgrade, an overhaul there, as we're expecting to see with COD 2026, a large overhaul there, the return of DMZ. I think in a lot of players' eyes, there's more reason to be excited for MW4 than there is Black Ops 7. That's entirely subjective, but I've seen that sort of sentiment around a lot as of late. And I think Call of Duty is aware of that as well. So if the original plan was, okay, we've done back-to-back with MW2, MW3, we've got Black Ops 6 now, the schedule's getting a little bit weird here. But if we did Modern Warfare 4, we're going to have to drop that. It'll be a very anticipated game, but we're going to be directly competing with GTA 6 for half of our year. It's kind of rough, because if Modern Warfare flops, that doesn't really typically bode well for the future. So why not bring Black Ops 7 in, where maybe the expectations would be a little bit lower? You'd get those, oh, it's a DLC comments. You'd have the carryover. You'd have this, that. It wouldn't be as exciting for a lot of players as the return to Modern Warfare after a little while, right? And DMZ and all that stuff, and a new engine and major potential there. Not wanting to have that overshadowed by GTA 6 could have shifted the timeline here for sure. Hence why we're seeing back-to-back sub-franchises here with Modern Warfare, Black Ops, before we shift back to Modern Warfare after presumably GTA 6 is launched. Now, that could still have an absolute impact on Modern Warfare 4's launch in 2026. If GTA 6, what's the current release date? May, I believe it is. That drops and they drop online a little bit after. There's still going to be a giant player base on that game that'll be there when Modern Warfare 4 rolls around. Maybe that launch does well, maybe it doesn't do as well as it could have because so many people are still on GTA and they don't have a reason to come back to COD quite yet. But I think it's certainly something to think about. I think objectively with Black Ops 7 now, post-launch and how it looks to Activision, to the shareholders and their data there, it's not going to be like MW3 for the reasons presented here because GTA 6 is that influential and that impactful. But I do wonder if that was sort of the plan and that was sort of the reality that Call of Duty was aware of all along. And that's why we've got this very bizarre schedule going on as it stands. Maybe they are a little bit scared. Maybe they're just okay with it, knowing that Black Ops 7 may not be the biggest year for sales and revenue and profits. I can't imagine Microsoft would be thrilled about that, but we'll have to see how this plays out. But I think it is something that was, it came up in conversation, like I said, and I was like, maybe there is more to this than we originally thought. So very curious to see your guys' thoughts on this down in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications so you can always guarantee you're in the know for everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.